Hello everyone, welcome back to my philosophy vodcast. You may have noticed I've been dealing with a lot of isms recently. Racism, anyway, you have a look on the list. There's lots of isms. Vegetarianism, environmentalism, maybe I could even say GMOism. But I saw this really brilliant cartoon that was done about 50 years ago, which I will link in the description, talking about isms 50 years ago. It's an amazing predictive cartoon that I think is so relevant to today. And so I would like to talk about an ism today, or two of them in fact. And that is neo-atheism, or atheism, and scientism. Now, obviously this is going to be quite a controversial subject. I am a believer in God and in the supernatural, if that's the word we want to use. And I've often been in discussions, shall we say, with people who are of this persuasion. And one of the most frustrating aspects of talking to many people who are, call themselves neo-atheist or who seem to consider science as a kind of religion, which is what scientism means, is that they won't often admit that it is a religion, or perhaps more properly a spiritual position. Even though it's quite a negative one, obviously, it's basically based on the idea that, there is no spiritual aspect to life. So, I can see their point in a way. They're saying because it's a negation of that, then the whole word is negated, I suppose. But then obviously not for somebody who believes there is a spiritual dimension to life. So it's interesting in a way. For them, their position is correct. They say in a way it's not a spiritual position because spirituality is just rubbish, And then for me, I'm correct. And we're both actually kind of correct, because I'm saying it's a spiritual position, even though you're negating, you're saying it doesn't exist. It's still about the spiritual aspect of life. And indeed, it is itself a worldview, and I believe, and I think most sensible people would agree, that everyone needs a worldview. That everyone needs a position on spirituality, even if it is to say it just doesn't exist. It's just a delusion, or a set of delusions, a variety of delusions. We all need some kind of answer to this question, what is this place where we are? Yeah, we all need that. We can't survive without it very long. I actually have had a period of my life where, quite a long period actually, a couple of years, where I didn't have a worldview. I didn't have a position on spirituality, mainly because the position I did have was absolutely wiped out by various experiences I had. So prior to this, I thought I was kind of Christian. Just said, oh yeah, God's loving, and and that was it. I didn't really give much thought to it. And in a way, I didn't even really believe it. It was just convenient, really. It was just an easy answer. And to be honest, a lot of people's spiritual position is like that, including atheists, especially in our day and age, where it's pretty much the fashionable position to have, and it is a very easy one. It's a very, very easy one. You know, so I can perfectly understand and expect that if this position had been around when I was, you know, before this experience where I had my sort of worldview really changed, I think I would have probably been a neo-atheist and a scientism follower, whatever they're called. Can't call them scientists, it gets confusing. But I can well believe that would have been my cup of tea. I mean, I love science. It's always fascinated me. Just to give you an idea, my science teacher once said to me, "Justin, I've given you 99% on this exam." And I was like, yes! You know, I was so pleased. And he said, "You actually got every question correct, but I've never given 100% to anyone ever in my life, and I'm not going to start now." And, you know, kind of slightly warped and strange, but it was nevertheless quite, you know, that gives you some insight into how enthusiastic and how, you know, capable I was with physics, and I still am, I think. I still am very interested. If I had the time and the money, I would probably do a physics degree. I've done a philosophy degree, I've studied experimental psychology also at university level. Not a whole degree, but as part of the philosophy. But yeah, I'm really interested in physics, and I know from doing the philosophy degree that you really need, you know, or at least I probably would need a very structured, complete course, like a degree, to really get it. You know, and it would be hard work, I know. It would be very hard work. You know, the mathematics, I had to do quite a lot of mathematics, obviously, for statistics, and we also do formal logic in some areas of philosophy, so, you know, I found that very challenging, but also very rewarding. But that's a bit of an aside. But I'm just trying to give you some background to my position, that I'm not against science, and I'm not ignorant of science. And the reason that I have the position I do on spirituality is because of the experiences I've had and continue to have, and but also I want to tell you that I think without those experiences I would be one of these people I'm discussing. And I'd probably be quite vociferous and quite aggressive and quite... I might even troll people a bit, to be fair. So I think I have a good understanding of the position, but I don't think they have a very good understanding of my position. And, you know, they can't really be expected to unless you've had certain experiences. How are you supposed to take those into account? So it's not something that you can blame someone for, or I think that any kind of God could blame them for either. This is why I tend to think that often atheists and you know, people who believe in science are very decent people, and you know, I know a lot of them will react very defensively to this video, but that is natural whenever we challenge someone's worldview, because it is such an essential thing that we need as human beings. I reckon you could survive, most people would survive longer without food than they would without a worldview on spirituality, even if it's a negative one. So it's that important, it's that crucial. I happen to think it's incorrect that, you know, that worldview. I think it's very limited. So I think it's, as in the Bible it says, you're building your house on sand. So I would love to see those of you who do take this position to have a bit of a more open mind and at least expose yourself to other viewpoints. Don't be resistant to them. Just in case, you know, one day you might want to change your position, because I think you will. And I think, you know, I hope people recognise that really it is a spiritual position. If we just allow the possibility that there might be something more to life. Now, I don't think that's an irrational position to even just say, well, it could be. And I've done a video on open-mindedness, and I think any scientist or any truth seeker of any kind seeing that video will see that there's a lot of truth in what's said about needing to be open-minded to even be open to truth at all. And that's my appeal in this video to those of you who who do consider science really the answer to life and the answer to what this place is. Fine, and I don't think there's anything wrong with your position, but don't cling to it like a life raft, you know, because it might be made of lead one day, and like my position was. And consider, just stay a little bit open to the fact there could be more, because I can assure you there is. So, thank you for watching, and bye for now.